Hello, hello. Welcome to a Christmas Eve edition of Let's Talk HP Lovecraft. Today's story is Polaris, but before we get to that, just going to ask you once again to please subscribe to our channel and help us reach our next goal of 750 subscribers. Alright guys then, Polaris, published December 1920 in the Philosopher, which was an amateur journal. And this story is about 4 pages long. Features a unnamed narrator who is an insomniac living on the edge of a swamp, who describes the hideous winking of the pole star Polaris, sort of mocking him every night. He believes that the blinking once constituted a message that has been forgotten by humanity. One night during a aurora borealis, he sees a vision of a marble city of Olathe, and it's under siege by strange alien creatures. He hears them speaking. The language is not English, it's a unknown language, an unearthly language, but somehow he mysteriously understands it, and he kind of wonders why he has this connection to Olathe. He experienced this many times, sort of as an outsider, a bystander, an onlooker, but eventually sort of comes to feel that he's arrived there in bodily form and is inhabiting the body of one of the protagonists of this war. Midway through the story, which is again about 4 pages long only, he sort of flips perspective, and now he sees himself as one of the people of this city, this strange city. It is under siege, and he's doing his part in the war. He is stationed in a watchtower. He's been studying the Necrotic Manuscripts, which I'll get to again in a minute. And he sees Polaris, of all things, blinking hideously above him in the sky, just like our protagonist did in the beginning. And soon he perceives himself as looking down on a swamp, where there are humans, where our original narrator came from. The positions have flipped, and now we're the aliens, and he is the protagonist. So it's just this really cool flip of perspective where it's unclear whether which person is the dream and which person is the dreamer. This is a short story, but it is very, very concise, very, very well written. Just in terms of pure fictional prowess, I would say it's one of the best written, technically speaking, stories of Lovecraft that I've read so far. I've read about, I want to say, probably close to half of his fictional output, and just, again, not in terms of creativity, but just in terms of writing technique, it may be one of his most creative. I love the seamless flip of perspectives in the middle of the story, where suddenly we go from the human perspective to the alien perspective, and it no longer becomes clear who is who. It's sort of a play on either possession or reincarnation, or even like sort of like a form of psychic travel, which I found to be pretty intriguing. This is my first encounter with the Necrotic Manuscripts, which I now know are a part of the Cthulhu Mythos, featured in a number of his stories. So I'm going to pull up really quickly here and get some background on them for you. The Necrotic Manuscripts, or Necrotic Fragments, is a fictional manuscript in the Cthulhu Mythos. The tome was created by HP Lovecraft, and it first appeared in his short story Polaris in 1918. There are mention of many of Lovecraft's stories, including The Other Gods, The Dream Quest of the Unknown Cadith, The Whispers in the Darkness at the Mountains of Madness, Through the Gates of the Silver Key, The Shadow Out of Time, and The Hunter in the Dark. They're also referred to in other authors of the mythos, including Lynn Carter and Brian Lumley. The Necrotic Manuscripts are noteworthy for being the very first of Lovecraft's fictional arcane books, which means they predate the Necronomicon and other stories like that. Origins, Lovecraft's protagonist in At the Mountains of Madness mentions that the Necrotic Manuscripts predate the origin of man, and observed that a few daring mystics have hinted at the pre-Pleistocene origin of the fragmentary Necrotic Manuscripts. Yet to keep the text age in perspective, the narrator of the Dream Quest of Unknown Cadith suggests that there exist in older scrolls that set forth the rhymes of the great ones. According to Lovecraft's story, the other gods, the Necrotic Manuscripts originated in frozen Lomar, a region of the Dreamlands, which makes sense in connection to this story. Yeah, guys, it's an intriguing concept. I'm going to do more research on Necrotic Manuscripts now that I know about them. It's one of the great features of HP Lovecraft's work that he created these fictional arcane documents that seep not only into his own literature but also into the sort of the pop culture of horror fiction and science fiction literature. So probably one of his greatest contributions to literature, as far as I'm concerned, the way that he's able to create these fictional books that have transcended even his own work. So yeah, guys, that is Polaris, another short story here on Let's Talk HP Lovecraft. It's a short one, but it's a good one, and if you've got 15 minutes, go ahead and read it, because you will not be disappointed. It may even be worth reading it a second time. I think I'm going to do that here after I turn the camera off, because I may have missed a few things. It's pretty well written, pretty well interlocked, so stories like that tend to be hiding a lot of clever devices that you don't quite see the first time around. Thank you once again for tuning in. If I don't see you again, Merry Christmas. That's coming up in just under, I don't know, like 20 hours now. So I hope you have a good Christmas, spend some time with your family, and then read something scary, because everybody needs a little bit of Lovecraft to counteract the effects of the saccharine Christmas world of, I don't know, heartwarming stories. All right, guys, please subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.